Hey, this is Notser, and this is Tier 5 Japanese destroyer Minekaze. It has 4 main guns, 6 torpedoes, 6 AA guns, a surface detection of 5.9 kilometers, top speed 39.4 knots, total health 10,900. For my modules, reduced crit chance on torpedo tubes and propulsion, faster aim time with torpedoes. For my commander, situational awareness, faster turret traverse, lower cooldown on torpedoes, and superintendent. We are on the map Fault Line. I spawned on the west side. I chose to use my boost to get into B. B is a fantastic place for destroyers to look to capture. The only real enemies that you might run into is an enemy fighter squadron, as I see going to B, and another enemy destroyer. The detection for the Minekaze is fantastic, so the enemy squadrons need to be very close in order to spot you. So we conveniently are just outside of the range, and we're going to stay in B and capture it. I chose this replay partly because playing destroyers is awful from 6 to 8. Both sides. They really are not very good. People are a lot better. I think they've overnerfed destroyers, quite honestly. I think they're far less effective than they need to be. The combination of better carrier pilots that will hover over you and better aiming overall for everyone makes you very vulnerable all the time. You don't have the health to take damage. You don't have the ability to get away. The reduction in the smoke effectiveness from closed beta to open beta, the fact that players are just better, it's just scary. And I have to go back 4 weeks to find a really good torpedo strike gameplay. I'm getting like 3 to 5 most of my destroyer games. It's pathetic. Hell, my Japanese cruisers get more torpedo strikes because they don't care at that point. But they can go all in on denying your effectiveness, and it's really wearing thin on me because destroyers are my favorite class. There's no contest. There's nothing in this game that brings me more joy than landing a full torpedo strike on an enemy. Now, we've captured B. There's an enemy battleship that's headed east, and we would love to use our torpedoes to defeat him. The Minekaze has 6 torpedoes, 3 launchers, so you have a lot of options on where you want to send your torpedoes. And we're going to send all 3 at this enemy battleship. He's sailing east. Now remember, this is 4 weeks, so the player skill is probably not as high as more recent videos, but it's still an enjoyable video, and it's a destroyer video with torpedoes that kill. I miss them. I want to get back to making them. It's just so hard. 6 through 8 is just a pain. It's just awful. So our torpedoes are still on target. He possibly maneuvered, but we do land at least 1 torpedo, and we cause critical damage to a module. And we did cause flooding, so he's most likely used damage control. So torpedoes are back up, and we're going to send them out. That's what the Minekaze is good for. Low cooldown on torpedoes, so you can constantly harass the enemy, and they can crumble to the amount of torpedoes you send out. Unlike the Mutsuki, the Hatsuharu, or any of the US destroyers. Don't get me started on US destroyers. Those are just bad. 4.5 kilometer torpedo range? Are you serious? I could see everything on your ship's deck before I could launch my torpedoes, and our torpedoes miss! Dang it! Now this US destroyer attempts a torpedo strike. Don't think he's gonna have a lot of success. We slow down so we don't catch him with our torpedoes accidentally. That would be the worst thing possible, and we're just a little bit too close, but the island gets in the way. Now, he did not see us send out torpedoes, but if I was in his position, I would assume the destroyer released their torpedoes, and I would change my course immediately. No questions asked. That's all I would do. So, we still don't know if our torpedoes were successful. The only thing we know is that they haven't made contact yet. Until just now. Awesome! Devastating strike. So, that enemy battleship is defeated. Looks like there was a huge battle for A. It looks like 7, 8 ships are dead, and there's another 4 there with one of our guys sandwiched in between 2 enemies, so it's not looking good for him. So I'm going to try and move to support. I don't really have to worry about the aircraft carrier. He's trying to use his bombers on friendlies, and I'm not one of his priority targets. And it's a little bit slow, right? Just trying to get over to A. The enemy is clearly destroyed the friendly that was in between at A. So now it's just a battleship against 3 enemy ships. We activate our boost to try and speed up the process. And it's an enemy Congo at the point. The Congo is a tier 5 Japanese battleship. Very fast battleship. So when you try and lead the Congo, there's a lot of room for them to change their heading, because they go at full speed at something like 30 knots or nearly. And changing their heading from a high speed makes it difficult to land torpedoes if they are able to pilot their vessel effectively. And we're going to try and catch him unaware. The last time the enemy saw me, I was on the eastern side of the map, and I had just torpedoed the enemy. We show up, we get just slightly too close. We pop smoke, he fires on us. He lands moderate amount of damage, actually pretty minimal, probably over-penetrated with AP, and we send out our torpedoes while under the protection of smoke. We've got a friendly, I think it looks like a Myogi with an upgraded hull next to us. And by the way, at this point, I wasn't investing in camo. I think camo is fantastic for destroyers. And we land 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 torpedoes, fully destroy the enemy Congo, and he wasn't able to react. That's one of the privileges of the Minekaze. It's got something like a 1.5 kilometer detection range on the torpedoes. This is a hidden stat that Wargaming doesn't show you. The reason the Minekaze is so good compared to the Mutsuki is the Mutsuki doubles that stat. So they can see the Mutsuki torpedoes 3 kilometers out and have plenty of time to maneuver. Plus, they don't really move that fast, and oh crap! This enemy cruiser is coming to get us. All we're trying to do is hide behind this island, and we're able to get right up against the island. We send out our torpedoes, all 6 of them, and we're still hidden. He's in the smoke, and a combination of the island got in the way, and he shows up right in time to die to our torpedoes. He sends out torpedoes, and we're not going to back up right now. We're going to let them go by, and they safely go by. And we back up. The enemy only has 37 points left. I'm going to just slyly try and back up into the point and get capture credit. And unfortunately, we're just barely outside of the capture. You need to have the majority of your ship inside the capture for it to count. And we're able to get 3 kills, 100% to 0 on a battleship. We helped finish off another, and nearly 100% on that cruiser. So it was a good torpedo game. It's been a while. I want more. Please, please, don't be so crappy, destroyers. 120,000 torpedo damage. Fantastic. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you next time.